Who showed up? RNC Chairman Reince Priebus.
And don't believe
Let's listen in.
Garbage you read. Let me tell you something. Donald Trump, the Republican Party, all of you, we're going to put him in the White House and save this country together. We just had a great poll that came out. I don't know if you saw the LA Times poll. Showed it a tied election in spite of the biased media. This man is going to win. He's going to save our country. He's going to put us back to work again, put more money in people's pockets. We're in a battle for freedom. That's why we're here. We're in a battle for freedom. It's the same battle that James Madison reaffirmed in the Bill of Rights. It's the same battle that founded our country. It's the same battle we're here today to fight. I don't know about you. How many people here have been to the World War II Memorial in Washington? Well, I think you would agree with me. You get out of it what you're willing to put into it. And I've been there lately with my little guy, Jack, who is now 11. We walk around and you see all those quotes from those heroes like Nimitz and Eisenhower and all those great people. But then you walk up to that wall with 4,000 golden stars on the wall. And for every one of those stars, 100 little guys didn't come home to mom and dad. And in front of those stars, in gold and the black granite, it says, "Here we mark the price of freedom." We're in a battle for freedom in this country. Donald Trump is going to help protect us, protect our country, secure our border, do the things to make America great again. And look at the choice we've got. Look at the choice. Hillary Clinton has a problem with lying. She lied, and she lied over and over and over again. She lied when she said that she turned over those work-related emails. She lied when she said that nothing in these emails were confidential. She lied when she said that she only had one device. Well, let's do this. Let's beat her in November, okay? Here's the difference. Donald Trump and Mike Pence will tell the truth. They'll protect your Second Amendment rights. They'll protect our southern border. They'll protect the sovereignty of the United States and our great country. Do you want 4 more years of Barack Obama in the White House? Do you want 4 years of Hillary Clinton? Do you want to hear from the next president of the United States, Donald Trump? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him now, the next president of the United States.
About what he has to say.
Incredibly big room, and thank you for being here. You know, it's 93 degrees out. Amazing. And they still have a lot of people trying to get in. I don't know if they could get them in. Should we let them in? Just let them in. But 18 years ago, people were making more money in real wages than they make today. And today they're working 2 jobs. Some people are working 3 jobs. So they're older and they're working harder and they're making less money. All right? A friend of mine, I've been telling this story over the last month because it's better than going to Wharton or better than going to Harvard and asking them to do a study, because you learn it in 3 minutes. But let me just tell you, right now, Mexico and other countries are building facilities, plants, the likes of which you've never seen. We're going to build a wall. Don't worry, we're going to build a wall. We're going to build a wall. We're going to build a wall. But a friend of mine, and actually a supporter, big supporter, great guy, he builds plants. That's what he does. He builds plants. He doesn't want to build apartments. He doesn't want to build office buildings. He wants to build plants. And He's just about the biggest there is. And I said, how are things going? He said, very well. How are you doing in the U.S.? Not good. How are you doing in Mexico? He said, Donald, you want to see, it's the 8th wonder of the world. They are building plants, the likes of which I've never seen. He's building some of the greatest plants, big. You look at Ford moving vast operations to Mexico, the plants. You take a look. By the way, millions of jobs, thousands of companies over the years, they've left us. And we have a few things. We have unemployment. We have empty plants. I saw it up in New York State. I saw it in Pennsylvania. You were great to me. You voted a big victory for Donald Trump. Thank you. That was a big victory. I mean, I assumed I was going to, if I don't win Pennsylvania. And by the way, I was talking to our great congressman, and where is he? He's here someplace. Where is he? He loves the people, and I have to say, of all of Pennsylvania, he wants to see this state do well. Thank you. But just talking back to a few of my friends that live here, we have a few of the friends, and we see what's happened with General Electric, where they're cutting way back. Not going to have it. And you know why they're cutting back? One reason. Because we don't take care of our miners, and we're not producing coal, and they don't need to make those big, big, beautiful, you could call them locomotives, I guess, right? Whatever the hell they are, they're big and they're powerful, and they don't need them like they used to, because we don't make our government work for us. They're not working for us. They're working for others. They're not working for us. So when General Electric goes out, and you see the numbers, I see the numbers, and it's about coal. So I just left parts of Virginia and West Virginia, and the coal industry is decimated. The miners are out of work. They're totally out of work. I mean, there will be no such thing as coal in this country pretty soon. And we're talking clean coal. We're talking clean coal. So I was with the miners. We have such tremendous support. West Virginia, the mining parts of Virginia, all over Ohio, because Hillary Clinton made the statement not so long ago, a number of months ago. She said, we're going to put the mines and the miners out of business, right? Going to put the mines and the miners. So we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let that happen. And we're not going to let it happen in Pennsylvania, because you know what? A lot of your miners have already lost their jobs, but you have a lot of other jobs that are very reliant on the mines. Like, as an example, General Electric. And what we're going to do, folks, is going to be so special. We're going to bring it back. We're going to bring back our jobs. We're going to bring back our companies. When a company wants to leave our country to go to another country and think they're going to make their product, and because our politicians are weak, stupid, taken care of by lobbyists, special interests, they're taken care of by lobbyists. They're taken care of by donors and special interests. That's why, you know, a friend of mine, very smart guy, said, I can't believe it. We're talking about a deal that took place about a month ago. He said, I can't believe they could have gotten that through. I said, why can't you believe it? But it's so bad for the country. He said, yeah, but it's good for the politician, because they're taken care of by their lobbyists and their donors and the special interests. So even though you say we want, as an example, General Electric to produce more, if they don't want to, or if for some reason one of the donors of crooked Hillary Clinton doesn't want that to happen, even though it's great for Erie, even though it's great for you, even though it's great for the state of Pennsylvania, then it's not going to happen, folks. It's not going to happen. And by the way, and I have to tell you this, so when they think They're going to take our companies and rip them out of, as an example, this area or this state or any other state, and go to Mexico and build massive new plants and employ people other than you, and you're going to lose your job. So you're going to now get 2 part-time jobs that don't add up to half of what you used to make. That stuff isn't happening anymore. So here's what happens. They're going to build their plant. Now, if I were here 5 years ago, and if President Obama put me and made me Secretary of Keeping Business in the United States, okay? That's my title. Secretary of Keeping Business in the United States. I mean, I like the sound of Secretary of Defense better. Oh, by the way, we're going to build up our military. We're going to be very strong. Believe me. And we're going to take care of our vets. We're going to take care of our vets. Believe me. But I like the sound of Secretary of Defense. I like the sound of Secretary of the Treasury. I like the sound of Secretary of State. But I'll tell you, would I be good at keeping jobs over here? Would I be good? I'll tell you this, I just have to say. The Bernie Sanders protesters were much, much stronger. They had much more passion, I have to say. All right. You know, it's interesting. If I could speak to them for like 5 minutes, we want a strong military. We want to take care of our people. We want good education. We want good housing. We want good health care. What do we want? We're all in for the same thing. Really amazing. Really amazing. So I'll be your Secretary of keeping companies in the United States, right? So I would go to a company like Carrier Air Conditioner, which decided to leave Indianapolis, Indiana. And I would say, here's a story. We think it's wonderful that you're negotiating with Mexico. I'm sure you're going to have a wonderful plant, but here's what's going to happen. If you build that plant and you fire all of these people, 1,400 people who were so great to me, Indiana, I won that in a landslide. Actually, the timing was good. I won it in a landslide because I know what to do. Hillary doesn't know what to do. Did you see her yesterday? She has no clue about what we're talking about. Folks, she has no clue. She has no clue. Crooked Hillary. She doesn't know anything about it. And by the way, if she did, she couldn't do it anyway because her donors don't want to do it. There's reasons. But look. I would go to them and I would say, this is to keep them. This is to keep them. And I wouldn't even care that much. I'll tell you why. You ready? I'd say, here's the story. If you leave, in this case, Indianapolis, you're going to go to Mexico, you're going to make your air conditioning units. Every single unit that you make that crosses our now very, very strong border, we're going to charge you 35% of the cost of that unit. Okay? 35%. Right? So simple. 35% the cost of that unit. We hope you enjoy your new plant. Very hot weather out there, very hot. We hope you enjoy your new plant. But 35% is coming to us. Now, here's what's going to happen if they haven't moved yet. A lot of them have moved. We've lost thousands and thousands of companies. We've lost millions of jobs. Too late. I should have been there 10 years ago, nobody would have left. Nobody would have left. Because you need the right messenger. You know, I'm your messenger in terms of this movement, but you need the right person saying it. So here's what's going to happen. Normally, they'd call up whoever it is that was putting the little order down, like the new president, and they'd have one of their lobbyists call up, and they'd say, Hillary, I'm sorry, you can't do that. They gave you $2 million for your campaign. Can't do that, Hillary. I said, okay, I won't do that. With me, I'm putting my money up, folks. I'm putting my money up, all right? Putting my money up. We're raising money for Reince and for the RNC, but that's for a lot of other reasons. I'm putting a lot of money up. I funded, not financed. I wish I financed, right? I funded my primaries, and I spent less than anybody else in terms of the majors. So here's the story. Wouldn't that be nice? I spent less and won in a landslide. Other people spent much, much more, 3, 4, 5 times more, and they came in 7th. Who the hell do you want to have as your president, right? 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 Oh, boy. And then they don't like me. A couple of them. Most of them have really supported us. But some of them just can't get over it. You know what I say to them? Get over it. We're just having fun. Get over it. You signed a pledge. I hereby guarantee that I will endorse whoever wins. You know, the funny thing, all those pledges, you know, they were signed they were signed so that I would sign it. And I would have honored it, I will say. Even if I wasn't fond or didn't like, I would have honored it, because a pledge is a very important thing. But here's the thing. So we are going to take these companies that haven't left. Now, I'm looking at your numbers, folks. You're not doing too well. You're not doing too well here. Pennsylvania has lost 1 in 3 manufacturing jobs since NAFTA. You know that's massive. Since NAFTA. NAFTA was signed by Bill Clinton. And I believe it's the single worst trade document ever signed in the history of our country and probably in the history of our world. It's one of the most one-sided documents that I've ever seen, and it allowed Mexico and places to do unbelievably well at our expense, all right? And you know, did you see where I say I'm going to renegotiate NAFTA? I'm going to, TPP, disaster, okay? Don't worry. Don't worry. And Hillary was in favor of TPP. She said it's the gold standard. Thank you for reminding me. I like this guy. It's the gold standard. TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership. It is going to be, I don't think it could be worse than NAFTA, honestly, but it's going to be as bad as NAFTA. So TPP, she said, it is the gold standard. She's reading it from a teleprompter. It is the gold standard. Oh, boy. Our country's in trouble. Our country's in trouble. Our country's in trouble. So she said it's the gold standard. But when she heard me make a speech, as I understand it, and she heard me talking very negatively about it. As an example, they don't talk about devaluation, which is the single greatest tool that these countries are using to kill the United States, including China. They devalue their currency. Well, it doesn't happen to be mentioned. Number one thing it's not mentioned. So complicated, this agreement. Too many countries. By the way, I believe in trade. I believe in trade deals. One country at a time. Boom, boom, boom. You got to see the lines. We'll have one line. And if they don't do well, if they don't behave themselves, if they want to start devaluing their currency all over the place, very simple. We write them a notice like we do in business. We serve them with a 30-day notice. And by the way, you just saw how great are our police, right? Law and order. We need law and order. We need law and order, and we will have law and order. No, our police, our firemen, but our police do a fantastic job. They're not recognized for the great job they do. If they have 500,000 incidents, all positive, beautifully handled, one bad thing happens. That one bad thing is on the news for 2 weeks, and it's a disgrace, okay? It's a disgrace. So we should be very thankful for the job they do. So Pennsylvania is losing a lot of its business. And right now, we're sitting here, we're talking. Oh, here's another one. Go home to mom. Go home to mama. And your mother is voting for Trump. She's voting for Trump. True. It's true. By the way, just to interject. So I was told this whole area is Democratic, meaning Democrat. And I was told that by a lot of different people outside. And then they said, I can't believe that you have 10,000 people, you have people outside trying to get in. They said, they came up to me, happens to be a Democrat who I happen to know is a good guy, came up to me and said, I've never seen anything like it. It always goes Democrat. Is that a correct statement? She said, you are going to win Erie and the surrounding, you're going to win in a landslide. It's going to be a landslide. Because people are tired of lies. They're tired of losing their jobs. They're tired of seeing their companies being ripped out and going to other places. They're tired of China coming in and dropping steel all over the place to put your companies out of business. So we have to go to China to get our steel, which is happening very quickly. And that's why the steel workers are with me. That's why the miners are with me. That's why the working people, electricians, the plumbers, the sheetrockers, the concrete guys and gals, they're with us. And I grew up, they say, you're really rich. How come you sort of relate to these people? Well, my father built houses, and I used to work in these houses. And I got to know the electricians. I got to know all these people. I got to know the plumbers, the steam fitters. I got to know them all. And I like them better than the rich people that I know. I know a lot of rich people. It's true. They're better. I like them better. So anyway, and we're going to put people back to work. We're not playing games. And it's going to go quickly. By the way, it's going to go quickly. But look at this. Okay. So Erie has lost nearly 1 in 3 manufacturing jobs.
You've been listening into live coverage of Donald Trump at a speech, a rally there essentially in Erie, Pennsylvania. We have with us Alan Combs and Mike Gallagher. And he's doing something interesting there. You heard him talk about all the unions and the trades, and he's talked about that a lot. And there have been some that have actually come out for him. I mean, it's definitely usually a Democratic stronghold. Mike, it's an interesting strategy in a state where he needs a lot of help.
I'm just struck by how we've never seen anybody give a campaign speech like he does on the campaign trail. And
I think that's
nobody's ever seen anything like this. And the bottom line is, when you stand there hour for hour, day after day, giving these kinds of stump speeches, he's going to say things that the media will pounce on because Hillary's very carefully scripted. She hasn't given a press conference since December of 2015. This guy will go to the opening of an envelope. He'll talk to anybody. He's going to talk to me next week on the radio, as a matter of fact, I believe. So, I mean, he gives a ton of interviews, but the enthusiasm that you hear in that room and the way he riffs and talks about his connection with blue-collar, hard-working steam fitters and electricians, this is a way that Hillary Clinton is utterly unrelatable, and everybody knows it.
Well, and it has, Alan, to be fair, it's been a long time since she's had anything that... I don't know that we're going to count that as an actual press conference.
Here's a guy
but she's got a lot of things and questions that she wants to avoid.
This whole thing is a lie. He's talking about how much he loves the fitters and the concrete people and the construction people, and it turns out in Atlantic City, he escaped town without paying these people. Investigations have shown he didn't. No, it's true. He did not pay the workers. People were left holding the bag. They were getting pennies on the dollar. He did did not pay people for the work that they did.
When you say it's a lie that a man in his heart has affection for hardworking blue-collar individuals, that's what backfires on you, Alan. You're overreaching.
I'm telling you the truth. This guy is a pathological liar.
Keep doing it.
He didn't tell the truth, and he did not pay his bills in Atlantic City.
When the left does that, it just gives him more
And there
votes.
are some who think that Hillary Clinton is got a trouble with telling the truth, and we are
There's
having
no comparison.
Oh, you're right.
No
You're absolutely right. Because
I'll let people take that as they want, because they can interpret that in a lot of different ways.
Yeah,
but listen,
the FBI director didn't accuse Donald Trump of being reckless with the truth, now did he?
He did not, that we know of. But listen, she's got this email issue that is not going away. There are new emails that have surfaced as the result of FOIA, Freedom of Information requests, and these are emails that should have been turned over. So people are questioning the timing about them. But had she turned them over months ago, we wouldn't be getting them right now. So the fact is, we're getting these emails. They raise questions about coordination between the State Department and top Clinton Foundation officials.
There's no evidence there's any quid pro quo. That's what's got to be proven. You just can't make these accusations. Judicial Watch, by the way, which has gone after they've gone after the Clintons for 20 years, and often on nuisance lawsuits, and there's no evidence that what they're saying is true. You got to prove a quid pro quo. And by the way, if Donald Trump were a good candidate, he'd be talking about this. He's not even talking about this.
We know what is true. We know that Hillary said there was a bright line between the Clinton Foundation and the State Department. We know that Hillary Clinton said there were no classified emails that she destroyed.
As far as she knew.
Those are untruths, Alan.
She did not. And by the way, the FBI said that from the marking, she could have not known whether they were classified or not.
Someone as sophisticated as a cabinet official who was the Secretary of State, the FBI director thought that somebody should have known. At that level,
she didn't know.
But she was the Secretary of State. She was a cabinet official.
By the way, can you tell me how security was compromised? This is a guy who gets out and brags.
We don't know, because the FBI director himself said we do not know.
This is a woman, by the way, who stood up for.
He said we can't know that for sure.
She testified for 11 hours before a hostile Congress. Now you've got Republicans going after her again. The FBI said there's no intent, there's no reason to indict, and you want to keep pushing this.
There's a big question about whether intent is necessary under these particular statutes.
You're so desperate.
She ought to testify for 5 minutes in front of the media corps that she won't give a press conference.
You've got a candidate that's imploding, and you're so desperate that you're bringing up old information about Hillary Clinton.
But Alan, the information would not be old if she would have turned it over.
That's exactly
right. The FBI there said there's no reason to indict.
The FBI said she's not trustworthy. The director admitted it.
She said there was no legal malfeasance. Your problem is you got a candidate you can't get your arms around. That's your problem.
You're a Bernie Sanders guy. You can't wrap your arms around Hillary either.
We're about to have to go. Okay. But we will listen for Trump on your radio show next week, and I doubt he's going to be on Alan's. But who knows? You never know.
I'll put a word in.
I'm Tina Bream. Here's Bill Hemmer. He's in today. First up, we'll see you next week.